The purpose of this short little video on SketchUp is to show you some of the basic tools that you'll need to use in creating your house. I'll have another tutorial on that on my website you can look at, but I'll show you some basics here today. Once you've opened up SketchUp, you need to go to the camera up on top, and then on the standard views, come down here and click on ISO. That'll just give you a better perspective of your work. This little arrow on the left is your select tool, and so what you'll want to do is probably get rid of that person. So just kind of do what I just did, highlight, and then click delete, and they're gone. Some of the basic tools that you'll need to work with on this toolbar up here are the rectangle tool. So if you click on this, you'll be able to create rectangles. And if you come down here and start at that point of origin, you'll notice that you can create your size. Notice what's happening in the lower right part of my screen, the size dimensions. So make sure you're aware of that and you aren't creating something that's hundreds of feet long. So you should be in the 10 to 20 feet long. And when you unclick, it locks it in. Another tool that you'll need to work with SketchUp is the push-pull tool, and that's that tool right there. And whenever you hover over a surface, you'll see it kind of gets grainy, and you just press down, click, and then just kind of slide up. Again, notice in the lower right hand corner the size dimensions. And so you have a basic box right there. Two other tools you really need to be familiar with are this little hand, which is the pan tool. If you click on that, you can move with your mouse, press down on your pad, you can move it to different positions. The tool right to the left is called the orbit tool, and this is another important tool, as you can turn it any way you want. You can look underneath it, you can go around to the other side, and it's just you can orbit and move it around. If you take your two fingers on your mouse pad and slide in and out, you can activate the zoom, so you can make it really teeny and you can make it really big. This is a handy tool to quickly zoom in and out with your fingers. If you'll come up here on your left, another important tool is this little pencil right here, and this is called the line tool. And so what we're going to do for sake of our drawing here is we are going to draw just a basic roof. And so if you'll notice, when I put that on that line, it says endpoint. And if you notice, if I follow that line, it turns blue. It's a handy little indicator showing me that I'm at the midpoint. So if I just click down and drag it across, notice it turns blue. That tells me I've divided it in half. And so then I've drawn a line. If I'll come up here to my select tool again and click on that arrow and then click on that little line I just drew, it kind of highlights it, it makes it blue. Another tool that is handy is this little triangular tool. Is called the move tool. So if I click on that and I hook up with that point, notice that little blue line, it tells me when it's blue, I'm going straight up. I'm parallel with that other line. And so I'm just going to unclick it, and then I have my roof of my simple little house. So you can check that out. Another tool that will be handy for you to use is called the offset tool. It's this little spider-like character, and I'll show you how we can use that. And so what we'll do is, first of all, we're going to orbit underneath our house. We'll make a fancy little roof line. Notice how it lights up. Then when I press down, I can kind of like make that little square like that. So it looks like that. If I come back up here to my push pull tool, if I click on that, notice that gets a little grainy. I press down and I can slide that up. And I can kind of make a cool little roof with using that push pull and the offset tool. So my house starts to take shape. We can play around with some different features on our house. You'll probably want to add a door, and so you can go to the rectangle tool and just make a little door right here, and then we can kind of blow the door out. If we use this, one way you can do this is to do this: click on the select tool, then click on that door, and then if you press delete, you'll have a little opening into your house, and you can look in there like that. You can also create, if you click on the rectangle tool, you notice you have some choices here. You can make a circle if you want, and if you press down, and there you have a little circle. If I go to my push pull tool, I can push that in, I can push that out, or I could go and delete it if I want to also. It's up to you. One other cool feature that really is very, very helpful is if you ever make a mistake, which you probably will at different times, a cool tool is the edit, and you can always undo just what you did. So if you click on that, you notice I've got my inside to my circle back there. So let's make a little chimney on this house here and work with some of the other tools a little bit. So I go up here to the line tool on the edge of my house. Notice it's blue, so I know I'm going straight. And then if I let go, I have one part. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And then that red line means it's going straight. And then if I come down here with blue, I have the start of a chimney. So I'm going to come up here to my push-pull tool. It gets kind of grainy, and I'm just going to slide it across. I'm going to click on the other side of that. I know it's odd to have a chimney in the middle of your house, but we'll let it go. Another cool tool is this little eraser here, and you can erase those lines just by clicking on them. And you have a little chimney to your house. The next really cool tool is the paint tool, and I'll show you how to use that. It's a little paint bucket right here. Well, let's just start with the inside of your house that you want to paint it. And so how do you get inside your house? If you go to the select tool and click on the roof and then delete, you notice it takes away the roof of your house, and then you can kind of look inside, and I'll show you how to replace that. And so if you go to the paint tool, you have all different choices here. Let's say you want to paint your walls yellow, and so you click on that, and those little paint bucket come, and everything you touch and click on turns yellow. Another cool feature is this little one on the right, which you have lots of choices. If you look through here, let's say you want to have a wood floor, and so let's just move our orbit a little bit here down, and then we're going to move in a little closer, and I click on wood, and I have some choices. I like wood floors, and so then you've just made a wood floor. You have the roof. You can get really creative with this. You go to roofing, click on that, and you can have a roof. Let's say that you want to make some vegetation. So you can make some grass. And so we're going to use the rectangle tool, and we're just going to, you can use a lot of different tools here. And so that's our property. And if I click on this again and vegetation, if I hold it on there, let's see which one. There's some grass, so I'll click on that. And then I have some grass, so it's a cool little tool to play around with. One other feature that will be kind of cool to work with, if you want, is the 3D models. So if you go up to File and come down to the 3D Warehouse, and if you choose Get Models, I already typed in Howard the Duck. We'll bring them back up here in a second. So let's say I wanted duck, and so I could search through and find tons of little models. Let's just say I want this one right here. Let's see how this goes. And it doesn't look real great. I click on download, load this directly into your SketchUp. Okay, and then you'll have to wait a minute for it to load up, and then you can bring it into your model and play around with it. Okay, so this one's coming in like really huge, so sometimes it does that, so you don't know the size. So I don't think you'd want your duck right there, but there he is. I don't know where I want this big guy to go. So there's my duck. He came in a little too big, so I'm not familiar with enough to make it smaller, but you can play around with that if you like. Kind of a cool feature. So before we go, you want to add your roof back. I'll show you how to do that. So all you got to do is come to the line tool, start at that end point, and just come across there, and then you've covered up your roof, and you could go and add the roofing tiles. So those are some basics with the SketchUp tools that you're going to need to be able to use to complete the history museum project that I will show you how to do a little later.